Hello everybody, Maven here, and it's way too hot to use a face cam today, so we're just gonna roll with it like this. So the new Choir of One just came out, and I'm gonna show you how to get it, and I'll show you what it does later on. So let's jump right into it. Hope it helps. Alright, so we're gonna start by going to the helm and talking to the failsafe because she has a new quest for us, and you'll see that a new mission appears in the helm called Encore Overture. And this is going to take place where the end of Act 2 was, where we met Lakshmi and that their pool of Vex milk. So in this room, we're going to go off to the right. You can see there is a really big slope that can lead you all the way up. Once my teammate finds out where to go, though, I end up just using my mountaintop and rocket jumping there. But you go to this big, huge ball, and there's a hole that you can drop down into, and that is going to basically lead you into the start of this mission. So this next part, I think I'm just going to speed up quite a bit. It's just a pretty straightforward traversal section, very similar to the Whisper mission, with things thrusting out of the wall and tiny ledges to step on. But it's pretty straightforward. You just go to the end of the crevasse. There's an entryway on the bottom right. Took me a while to find that, but I just sidled along the wall to find it. There's elevators that you can ride up, and in the next area there is like an elevator in the center of the room. I kind of skip it a little bit with mountaintop, but yeah, there's just elevators around that center pylon. But now we're coming up to one of the most confusing rooms in the entire encounter. My fire team spent about a third of our total time in the mission just in this room alone. The red herring room, there is about 5 or 6 like sliding doors, and it's kind of just like a little maze, a little mini maze, but eventually you'll figure it out. So what you're going to want to do is turn your attention towards the center door, the glowing white one, but don't go through the door. Instead, take the elevator up. And then there's going to be a second elevator, take that one up as well. And eventually you're gonna make your way across a third elevator, but do not go up that third elevator. Instead, turn around, backtrack a bit, and you're going to see a glowing purple entryway that you can crouch down and slide under. That is the way to go to the next encounter. So when we come to this next encounter, in the center area, we're going to see this Vex symbol, and it's going to have this arrow pointing upwards. The ultimate goal of this encounter is to get back to this podium and dunk a symbol there. So we're going to have to go through a whole process to do that. Moving on to the next area, there is going to be an arrow symbol, and it has a green laser coming out the top of it. With the green laser, that means that we can grab the symbol. If it doesn't have the green laser over the top of it, we cannot grab it. But this symbol over here is flashing. That means I can dunk that arrow symbol I grabbed into that arrow podium, and that is then going to open this door so I can access this pylon. There is going to be 3 total pylons that we need to activate to get to the next area. It is going to kill you when you activate it, but don't worry about that. You succeeded. And I'm showing off here that I activated one of the pylons. That's why one of those diamonds over there is lit up red. So now the next thing you have to do is get more arrow symbols. So there are going to be Vex that spawn on the lower floor, and they can drop more arrow symbols. And so that is what my teammate did. He dunked it there, and that opens this next entryway. And now over here, we see that there is another symbol. I grabbed it. So when I go in third person, you can see I'm holding a D symbol, and I'm going to dunk it on the left in that D podium. If I dunk it in the wrong one, I die. So now we got to get an arrow symbol to that other podium, so we can actually go and reuse an old arrow symbol that we don't need there anymore because it's basically opened up a passageway. So I'm going to retrieve this arrow since I already opened up the other door. So now I'm going to dunk it on the arrow podium over here, and that is going to open up the next pylon. You get it? This is a little bit of a mechanic that you're going to see throughout the mission. But now that I have accessed this second pylon, I don't need this arrow symbol anymore that is opening up that doorway, so I can grab that arrow symbol and use it elsewhere. So it's going to be used on this podium. My teammate uses it and opens up this podium in the top middle of the room. I'm looking the wrong way, but the entryway actually opened up behind us. My teammate somewhere activated a third pylon I didn't see, and I apologize for not showing it on screen, but you get the idea. So now that all 3 pylons were activated, that opens this next area. When you traverse through all the way to the very end, you are going to see that a red wall of death is going to start chasing you, and you have to escape it Indiana Jones style, but not after grabbing this second arrow symbol. This second arrow symbol is what we need to complete the encounter, because in order to escape that first encounter area, you need an arrow symbol to open the door. But then if we have that arrow symbol open the door, we're not going to have another arrow symbol to dunk in that very first pylon I showed you at the very beginning of the encounter, which is what we need to end the encounter. So the whole point of activating those 3 pylons and doing this Indiana Jones escape sequence is to retrieve a second arrow symbol. And that is what we need to run all the way back to the start. So now that we have another arrow symbol, we can open up this original doorway to be able to get back to the beginning. But now we have a second arrow symbol that we are capable of grabbing and running to the beginning. As you can see here, pick that up, run that over to the very ending podium. And when we dunk that in there, that is going to open a bridge and end the encounter. And this is basically just teaching you the mechanics of the mission. And this is going to be repeated throughout the next few encounters. It's pretty straightforward. And I actually really enjoy it. I think it's pretty fun. And as it goes typically with exotic missions and raids and dungeons, we got another little bit of a traversal section here. So go to this little circle rotunda thing on the left, and then you're going to jump to this ledge off to the right. Gonna ride these elevators upward. Don't get bonked like I did there. If you got eager edge, you can save yourself. But yeah, just ride a few elevators up, and there is going to be a little hole on the right that is going to lead us to the next encounter. So now that we understand the mechanics, this next encounter should be pretty easy. We start by killing some Vex in the middle, and the Vex is going to drop a D symbol. So we grab that D symbol and dunk it in the middle podium, but we don't really need to go up there just yet. We want to stay down and kill another Vex guy, but I honestly think this part is bugged, because I grab a useless symbol off this Vex guy, which is another D symbol that we ended up not needing, and I was stuck with it for the rest of the couple encounters. But yeah, so basically killing this next Vex guy is going to allow ads to start spawning on the top floor when you go to the elevator in the middle of the room. And up here, we're going to get introduced to a brand new symbol, the blue symbol, because we learned before that the arrow symbols activate traversal sections, and the blue symbols are going to activate portals. So my teammate is going to go into that hallway on the right side and grab the blue symbol and dunk it in the podium in the middle, and that is going to teach us that blue symbols activate portals. So we go in that portal to the left, which leads us to the outside, and there's going to be an arrow symbol and another blue symbol. So my teammate's going to grab the blue symbol and dunk it on the podium on the right, which is going to open up a portal back to the original area where we first discovered blue symbols. But now we find ourselves with 2 blue symbols grabbable. So since we have an extra, we're going to take one, run it back through the portal, and dunk it on the middle portal podium. And that is going to get me trolled Garden of Salvation style as I run through the portal and fall to my death and bonk comedically against a wall. But in the process, I see that there is a green podium, so we can go back to the previous room and grab that spare green arrow symbol, run it through the portal, and place it in the podium. That's going to open up this traversal section where we see another portal with another blue podium. So you know what to do. Go back to the previous room, grab that spare blue symbol from the right side that you don't need anymore, run it through the portal, open up the portal in the middle, and that is going to lead us on to the next area and complete the encounter. And now we get to the next encounter, which is the first boss encounter, and it's pretty straightforward and easy, so my explanation is going to be pretty brief. But I will say it's a Tormentor and a Subjugator boss, so it's a good idea if your entire fire team uses the Microcosm. So you start by damaging the Subjugator boss until he's at 2/3 of his health. Then a blue symbol spawns, you put it on the podium on the right, open up the portal. Then you get introduced to the Tormentor boss, damage him until a blue symbol spawns, put it in the podium, open up the portal, and then you go in there and fight the Subjugator boss until a blue symbol spawns, put it in the podium, open up the portal. Just keep on leapfrogging these symbols and going through portals until both bosses die, and it's easy as that. It's a very, very simple encounter. And then you get rewarded with a chest that makes you think that it's the end of the mission, but it's actually not. There's still more to go. So you go through the portal to the next room. There's a little hole in the right side of the room you can crouch through that leads you to the next traversal section. Now, in this area, I dropped a lot of frames, so I apologize, but basically, you just clear out some ads. There's no mechanics. You just clear out some ads, and I see that there's a ledge that you can get up to over here. So I do a little bit of rocket jumping action, and you can sidle around this right side wall that leads you to the next area. And there's really nothing to do here other than just clear out ads and keep on traversing until you get to a portal. And that's going to lead you towards the final encounter. So when you go through the portal, you're going to see your proximity sensors going off, and you just literally look to your left and there's a dead body you can interact with, which gives you the next specimen quest. And then you're going to have to wait for an unskippable talking cutscene. Hopefully you don't have to wait through this every single time. But after that's over, this portal on the right side of the room is going to open up and lead you to the final boss encounter. Now for this final boss, I would highly recommend Whisper of the Worm or some other kind of sniper rifle. I think that's a pretty good decision. So you start off the encounter, a Vex is going to drop a symbol as per usual. It's going to be an arrow symbol, which you can dunk into the middle of the room. And that arrow symbol is going to open up a pylon you can activate just like from the first symbol encounter. And as you can see there, my teammate activated it and activated the pylon in the center of the room. So now we no longer need that arrow symbol in the middle of the room, so we can grab it and use it elsewhere. So we go to the very next green symbol on the right, and that is going to open up this plate encounter. So just go ahead and stand on this plate, cap it all the way up to 100. Now, after you have cleared the plate, there's going to be a triangle on this big ball in the middle of the room that you can break, and that is going to free the boss. Pull out your Whisper and go ahead and DPS him. He's actually a pretty squishy boss, so it should be very, very easy to melt him with the Whisper. Now, after you've gotten this boss's health down to half, there's going to be 2 Minotaurs that spawn, and one of them is going to drop a blue symbol to open a portal, because you're going to see that the entire room gets blocked off by this red wall of death. So you're going to need this portal to escape to the other side of the room where the boss escaped to. So grab the symbol, open up the portal, go through it. That's going to lead you back to the center of the room where you can just finish off the boss. Kind of underwhelming. I thought we were going to have to open up more portals and go from room to room to room. I think that would have been more epic, but you know what? Quick, easy encounter. I'll take it. And after that, that is the end of the mission, and you're going to get your Choir of One, which is indeed craftable. It is going to be a red border. So now let's take a look at the Choir of One. It has the perk Fanatical Lance. It says the rapid final blows cause targets to explode into a pool of radiolarian fluid, and hip firing does a wyvern attack, for lack of a better term. That slow firing shotgun blast that wyverns do. So let's go ahead and craft this thing and see what it's capable of getting. And as you can see here, there are a lot of craftable traits that are usually time gated, but we'll see what Bungie ends up doing with that. People are probably digging for these things in the Encore mission as we speak. But looking at its perk potential, it can get Subsistence, Destabilizing Rounds, and Onslaught. Some pretty solid options. I would have much preferred Rewind Rounds, but I guess we'll take these. So let's take it for a spin and see what it can do. It's a 225 RPM Void Special auto rifle, and I was pleasantly surprised to see that this thing actually hit like a truck. It hit like a 120 RPM scout rifle, except it's 225 RPM. Testing it out against Carl with the hipfire Wyvern Blast. Looks like a Wyvern Blast consumes 5 ammo, and you can shoot off 5 in 1 magazine. And all 5 together hits like a rocket launcher. And it actually does some very solid burst DPS. I am pleasantly surprised with this thing, and I am very, very excited to use it specifically with the Gear Falcon's Hauberk. It's going to put in the work. And as a quick little ammo test with this thing, I rallied to a banner with triple reserves, and I can hold 382 ammo. Honestly, I expected more, but I can't complain since it is basically a special machine gun. And I really, really like this thing. Like I said, with Gear Falcon's Hauberk, it's going to be absolutely disgusting. And it may just give the Buried Bloodline a run for its money. So expect a video on this in the very, very near future. Possibly tonight, probably tomorrow. Now, the downside of that Wyvern hipfire shot is it's a slow-moving projectile. So it's only really going to be good against bigger targets and also from close range. So it's not going to be the best in a lot of situations, but in the right circumstances, it's very, very strong. But I do believe that this auto rifle will see a lot of play, and I do believe it will shake up the meta, especially with the new auto rifle artifact mods that we'll cover in a future video. It's also going to be very good on Actium War Rig Titan and very good with volatile rounds. So that's going to do it for this Choir of One guide. I hope it has helped. If it did, be sure to drop a like and a comment, because your interaction really goes a long way. And if you're new here, please consider subscribing. Would love to have you here, and definitely do not miss out on the Choir of One builds to come in the near future. And with that, I'll catch you in the next video. See you later.